This is the carp rig that I've been using for quite a few years, and it's caught me many fish. It's a really good rig, and I've referred to it in the past as my 99% rig because it's what I use about 99% of the time when I'm fishing for carp. I know a lot of you watching this have kind of adopted this rig design too, and had some good success. I've heard from you in the comments that it works good for you too. That's great. And a couple of years ago I published a video where I went into extreme detail discussing each component of the rig, what components I use, what types of hooks, what types of line, where I get these things, why it's lined up the way it is, and so forth. And if you want to go back and watch that video, you probably should, because that'll explain some of the why of why it's laid out like this, but I'm not going to do that today. Today I'm making this video to show you a change to this rig that I came up with this winter that I'm going to be experimenting with for the 2023 season. So the part of this rig that I'm going to focus on here today, and that I have been focusing on during the winter, is this right here. These two components, this spring feeder and this sinker. And really I don't have a lot of problems with this part of the rig, except for in one instance, and that is when I'm fishing in a place that has lots of nuisance fish like bullheads or green sunfish and things that like to pick at the bait. They can't get the bait in their mouth or tear it off the hair, but they're constantly picking it up. And I can see this from my, I can see my line getting pulled gently, over and over and over again. They're picking it up, trying to eat it, but they can't, and they're picking it up and they're picking it up, and eventually what happens is the hook falls onto the feeder, goes down into the feeder, and at that point it's pretty much useless as far as carp fishing goes. A carp's not going to be able to get that hook in their mouth. And then eventually, after about a half an hour of nuisance fish messing with it, I'll reel it in, and I'll have the hook is caught in the spring. And usually when that starts happening, when I get nuisance fish doing that to my rig, I will get rid of this and swap these out with just a flat no-roll sinker. I'll put that in place of these two components. And so that solves that problem of there's no spring for the hook to get caught in, so the nuisance fish can mess with it all they want, and it's just gonna be laying on top of that sinker, and it can still get sucked up by a carp. But the problem with that is the casting distance is reduced dramatically with this, because this doesn't hang on to the pack bait as well. So if I'm just doing a short casting, this works absolutely fine if I'm casting 20-30 yards. But if I need to go farther than that, it can be difficult to get the bait to stay on. It'll fly off a lot easier if I'm using this. So those are the two options that I've been using for a long time, and I wanted to come up with something that would just be a universal thing that would solve this problem, so I wouldn't have to change rigs at all. Just a rig that would work in pretty much every situation. And I know the European tackle companies, they make some things that kind of solve that problem, that combine these two things into one. Just those method feeders, which are basically one of these sinkers with some plastic wrapped around it, and little bars, of plastic that hold the bait on. A lot of people use those. I just can't bring myself to use those. I don't know. They're just not my style. I see that Fox does make some things. I think they call them paste bombs, which is this. It's kind of a tri-lobed thing that you pack your bait around, and those look pretty interesting. I think that's something that I might use, but again, it's a European thing. I'd have to buy it from overseas or from like a big carp tackle type place for $5 a piece, and I can afford it, but I just don't want to. So that being said, I wanted to kind of simplify this part of the rig here, and I didn't really like any of the options that I was seeing available on the marketplace. So this is what I came up with. This is the change right here, obviously, and it's what I'm calling a feeder sinker. It's the exact same rig here. It's just that these two parts, the spring and the egg sinker, have been replaced with a sinker that is shaped like a spring. This is a custom-made item. I poured this myself, and this one weighs 3 ounces. I got molds for two sizes, 2 ounces and 3 ounces. This is a 3-ounce one. And as you can see, this end is a little bit thicker than this end. And I put it on here this way intentionally. I want the heavier end to be down by the hook. That'll kind of increase the bolt effect. It's probably debatable whether that matters much, but that's the way I'm going to do it. So everything about these two rigs is the same except for the system that's going to hold the pack bait. Same hook, same line. We've got a bead down here, which does not exist on here, but that's because this tubing is plastic, so just having a bead up against the plastic tubing would be redundant and not needed. So I've got a bead here that covers up the knot right there and protects that knot from the lead banging on it. And here's the sinker, then another bead and a bobber stop at top. The bobber stop fixes that sinker in place, so when a fish picks up the bait and puts the hook in their mouth, the sinker stays put, doesn't slide up the line. This is not a sliding rig. However, it's not a fixed rig either, because that with a little bit of force it'll stay put, but if you put just a little bit more force on it, that bobber stop will slide up the line, and that sinker can just slide off if this gets caught in the fish's mouth and it's swimming around with this dangling from its mouth. The minute this gets caught on a tree or in between some rocks or something like that, it's going to slide off the end of the line. So here's a close-up look at this sinker. As you can see, it's yeah, like I said, it's a spring-shaped sinker. I'm just going to call this a feeder sinker. And then the finish on it is kind of a dark gray. I treated it so that to take the shine off the lead. This is what they look like when they're freshly poured. I haven't treated this one yet. As you can see, it's you know, real shiny. And it'd be covered with pack bait anyway. It probably is fine to use it like this. And first couple times you cast it in the water, it would dull up anyway. But I went in and soaked these in some acetic acid and treated them. So we've got this like nice dull gray color, which I think is pretty cool and kind of takes the shine off of them, you know. And along with that sinker feeder, I've also made some of these kind of pear-shaped leads with the gripper bumps on them. I think the Euro guys call these gripper leads, and I think this would work pretty good for packing pack bait on too. And I'm going to give these a try. I made these in both 2.5 and 3 ounce, I think. And of course, you know, these have the kind of patina dark gray finish, just like the other one. There's a brand new shiny one. I don't know if you can tell the difference on the but anyway. But as you can see, I've got my initial there on these sinkers, kind of customized the mold there. Got a little T down there on the bottom of this one too. Can't see that one that great, but yeah. So this is going to be the new 99% rig, at least for this year, and this is experimental. I have not fished with these at all. I think they're going to work. I mean, it's a sinker, so how I don't know what kind of circumstances could be foreseen where it wouldn't work, but I need to try it to find out for sure. If you're really observant, you would have noticed that this one here has a swivel and this one does not. And that's something that I was going to experiment with, was eliminating the swivel too. However, just getting this rig out to film this video, I noticed that my bead will slide over that knot just like that pretty easily and slide all the way down to the hook, which is not what I want. So yeah, the swivel's going to stay. Thought I'd try a swivel-less rig, but it's going to be a swivel there. Essentially, these rigs that I'm going to be trying this year are identical to this here, what I've been fishing with for a long time. Like I said, just swapped out these two for these feeder sinkers instead, so we'll see how it goes. I made about 20 or 30 of each of these, and so I've got a limited quantity around, and I decided I'm going to make them available for sale for anybody who wants to try these along with me. You can find the link for them to my eBay store in the description. These sinkers are available in the 2 ounce and 3 ounce size in multi-packs, and then these are available in the 2.5 and 3 ounce weights. And they're not cheap. These are not going to be a cheaper alternative for you to the European style stuff. They're on par with the pricing for that kind of stuff. My time's not free. Like I said, I just have a small quantity available right now. We'll see what the interest is. If they get bought up and I run out, I'll make more. So if you go to the website and they're out of stock, check back in a week or so and I'll be making more. But this is what I'm going to be experimenting with this year. If you wanted to experiment along with me, you have an opportunity to do so. But I'm really excited to get out and give these new sinkers a try. If you want to find out how it goes, well, you're going to have to tune in. Time will tell. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. See you on the next one.